Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so woke up this morning feeling pretty good. I guess you can say I feel pretty good. I got the same problems I always got, getting closer to Wednesday, which is the day we go to court and figure out whatever they figure out is. And I've been sitting here these last couple days just trying to cope with my own emotions, not really able to address my stresses at all. It feels like I'm getting weaker in that way, to be honest with you. That's all I can say. It's the truth. In the meantime, of course, if you've been following the channel, I've been throwing myself into the NBA draft stuff, which is something that really is a joy for me in this world. When I get a chance to study new basketball talent that's getting ready to go into the league, it's one of my favorite things to do in the world. It's right up there with drafting NFL fantasy football and basketball teams. It's right up there with doing playlists. Just really enjoy this aspect of the NBA, and so that's kind of been great for me, dealing with all this stress, to have that particular interest in place at this time of year. And really, as I've been praying these last couple of days, the only thing that's really been coming to me is a whole lot of nothing in regards to my direction or what I should do, or nothing. In prayer, I received some sort of, I ain't gonna say confirmation, I don't think that's what I want to say, but some sort of peace given and granted to me in regards to what the Lord wants to do with AMC, GME, and all that other stuff that I've been involved in that seems to be going really nowhere, and everything that's in place in regards to the corruption seems to be on a path forward that doesn't have an end to it. And as a result, it's done a lot of damage to my personal life in regards to my finances, and I'm sure millions of other people who are also apes at the same time. So I ain't gonna say I got confirmation, because that's not the right way to frame what it is that comforted me. But in regards to praying and saying, is there any plan for what it is that you have us doing on high? And the answer that I received was yes, there's a plan. There is something to this. We ain't done yet. And so that's really what it is. They haven't covered. We know that. So everything on the paper still tells us that regardless of all the noise going on with these stocks, that the money is still owed, and as a result, the squeeze is still very much probable, possible, whatever the word would be to better tell you what it is. It's still very much something we're looking at the same way we were looking at it 3 years ago. The only difference is it's 3 years later, and it's been a long time since we've been sitting here. That's the only difference. And we understand that because it's been a long time, the possibility of them being able to drag this out for a very long time seems more possible the longer this drags out. So that's the reality of how it perceives. And I think it's meant to be that way. It's psychologically meant to make you feel like you're in the middle of something that never ends. And as I've told you guys 2 years ago, they hired psychological experts to try to apply different methods to try to shake or loose the apes, and this is just yet another one. Splitting the shares in half, using the CEOs to do their bidding in regards to the price action of the stock itself. It's just a lot of very elaborate psychological embedded deterrents that are meant to make us forget that they're the bad guys. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. And so, as I've been sitting here suffering the ills of what it is that they have done to me, in regards to the choice that I choose to be in regards to this movement, I've suffered greatly. I've documented the suffering greatly, and there is a plan for that spiritually, and that's basically what I'm here to tell you. So I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know what's going to happen to the rest of the apes, but I can tell you, God is telling me that He's on top of it, and I've been calling out to Him every day in regards to my own personal mental anguish that has been caused about by choosing to be a part of this movement. The sufferings that I've gone through just on a personal level, trying to keep up with very short amount of money, keeping them in a certain space that I can't access but once every couple of days. Living like that for the last 2 years has done a lot of damage to my mental health. It's allowed me to lose my car, the stability of my apartment, slowly deteriorated my mental health in regards to keeping my job. This whole thing has been bad. You guys know that already. I'm just summarizing everything that's already been understood into one little small condensed space yet again. But for me, it's just waking up this morning still believing in what it is I'm doing, still steadfast in trying to make good decisions for myself in the process of still trying to stay true to what it is that I ultimately believe is possible, which is if you hold on to these shares at any given moment, you can find yourself with a lot more than you've ever had. And if you get out of your position, that process could still take place without you on it. So no matter what, I try to make sure that I have some. And right now, I still have what I own and would love to add to it if at all possible. So that's really what I have to say in regards to my ape-ism, I guess you can say, and how I feel this morning waking up, still nowhere near being okay. The answer is, God told me I'm going to be in one way or another, or that his plan for what it is I'm doing is going to be fine even if I'm not. So I will live with his choice upon my life and continue to try to look for ways to help my own mental health so that I can live better than I've been living these last couple of years and these last couple of days, most importantly, which have been especially difficult for me because I'm tired of eating the same foods that I've been eating. Certain things that are going on in my life because of my mental health have not been addressed properly, so I'm suffering those ills. The refrigerator never showed up. You know what I mean? It's been 4 months without a refrigerator, and I've been eating the same foods for 4 months. Not only because I don't have a fridge, but because my body rejects everything. So my body rejects everything. So what you have is a situation where even if I had in my fridge, a lot of food that goes in the fridge, I cannot eat. So a lot of the stuff that I am eating, I probably would still eat, which is why I didn't see the urgency to really address Strictly Mott, which is the company that scammed me out of my little $50. Supposed to be sending me a fridge. I knew it could take a long time, but wasn't supposed to take 4 months and wasn't supposed to not be listed as something that I purchased when I last checked their website. Sent them an email, told them to send me my money. I didn't get as much a response for them. So Strictly Mott is the company that did this to me, and you all should know it. So that's really what I have to say about Strictly Mott. They got me, and so I will be addressing them when my temperament allows me to do so, because that's yet one of many things that my mind just does not want to deal with in regards to stress. Y'all know how I am with that. Even if it's not stressful, if it pulls me away from something that would otherwise make me be able to stay in this space of something like denial, if it makes me have to address problems, then it's going to make me look at all my problems, not just one of them. So I try to stay away from everything that would otherwise put me in a position to have to face that stress, and that is where I need the most help. In regards of handling things that are more stressful, is getting more difficult, much more difficult to handle simple tasks. That's the update. I can legitimately say that it's difficult for me to just look at the paperwork in regards to my court situation. I had to pick it up and say a whole 30-second prayer, not 30-minute, 30-second prayer before convincing myself to open the envelope a third time, just to look on there and see if there's anything on there I otherwise need to see. My anxieties have gotten to a place where they are way out of control. I haven't had anxiety issues like this since I was about 7 years old. It's not as bad as it was when I was little, because I was having full-on panic attacks back then, and I haven't had anything like that. But I think the reason why I haven't had anything like that is because I've been keeping myself ever so careful to stay away from anything that would even approach that energy, which is dangerous for me, extremely dangerous. So, this is what ultimately came to me this morning. I woke up out of my sleep asking the Lord to, provide me the strength to make decisions that would ultimately reverse this process. I'm in the worst financial position I've been in probably my adult life. I ain't been this broke since I was about 17 years old. And the difference is I'm holding on to something that I'm trying not to touch in the process of that. So I really don't have anything at all. And it's getting to a point where, because it's so small, I don't want to pull from it to do things that need to be done, and I'm putting off that process to the very last minute. Money that needs to be gotten to pay the bills, putting it off. Money that needs to be gotten to get groceries, waiting until the last second to get it. Money that needed to buy weed, I'm stretching my weed even more. It's a lot of stuff that I'm on the last leg. And common sense tells me to go out there and get a job. But I'm telling you that I can't even bring myself to look at a bill, let alone get on a bus, let alone go over there and you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed mentally, that no one's going to do for me, that there's no representation of legal understanding as to how I'm going to get $1, so I'd better snap out of it or I'm going to find myself on the street. Like, that's the reality of my circumstances. I have to snap out of this. And the reality is, this is not something you snap out of. This is a mental health concern that needs a lot of help attached to it, and I need people to help me get that help, and those people are not present. As I've once mentioned in my videos, and I've been trying to convince myself to do the hard work to go get a psychological evaluation, and hopefully that can trickle to me getting them financial support that I ultimately need at this time. But I cannot bring myself to schedule that process. For one, I don't want to catch a bus all the way to South Bay. Two, I can't afford to catch an Uber back home from South Bay, and I don't know anybody with a car, so it's like I can't get to where I need to go. You know what I mean? And then there's the anxiety of asking my family for the money that I need, knowing that I've asked them 2 years ago to give me the money. I did not do what I should have did with that money. Instead, did this with the money, and that's why we're here. So it's like, without the commitment to fix my own financial support, all I'm doing is setting myself up to either hear the word no, because that's what's responsible for anybody to say when you give money to somebody that ain't doing nothing at all, or they're gonna say yes. Who knows how that tumbles forward? If they give me the money, do I get better? Do I take that as a cushion to continue to sit here for another year? I mean, the commitment at the end of the day to earn money has to come from within this skull, or I feel like it's a deterrent to me even asking for that money, and I can't convince myself to turn myself into somebody who wants to be a professional at all. As I wake up in the morning, I say, do I want to go out and get a security job? No, I'd rather jump off a building, land on my head. Literally. That's a fact. That's not me capping with y'all at all. I have already determined why I even let it get this bad is because it's that bad in regards to me convincing myself to go back to do what it is that I ultimately have chosen not to do. Now, that choice is something you should be able to easily audible out of, but as I've once described to you guys many times, for whatever reason, that part of my brain doesn't allow me the opportunity to say, you know what, I changed my mind, let's go do something that's less comfortable, that will stress us, that will ultimately end the stresses that we're feeling long term, to provide me the stability. For whatever reason, my brain doesn't want me to have that stability, or doesn't want me to approach the hard work that would allow me to have that stability. So as a result, I always find myself in situations where there is no stability, and immense stress on top of it because of it, for which I can control, which doubles down on the fact that I get to hate myself for it. It doesn't just end there. It starts becoming a situation of, why don't you, why haven't you, we're not enjoying this, it's my fault, I can't blame nobody, and I'm angry about that too. And then furthermore, cycling back into further anger at my own self. So it's like, I've learned my way around that to a degree. Now it's like, okay, I'm not quite as mad at myself for that. I can write it off as my mental health, or whatever, chemical stuff, whatever it is. And then from there, a few circles of layers of that anger isn't pointed at me. So that's where I've made overcomings and breakthroughs in regards to my healing over the last couple years. The self-loathing doesn't actually come into play anymore. But you still get frustrated with the circumstances, you still get frustrated with the choices, you still get frustrated with the part of your brain that you're trying to convince to do certain things that tells you, nah, you don't have to do that, even though you're sitting there suffering the ills of what it is. And it's like, if I were to receive what it is that I'm hoping to receive, am I going to do anything good with it? If not for the presence of all this sickness in my head? I mean, the Lord can give me $1 billion. Am I really going to be better for it? Or am I going to be dead in 6 months? Because that's what happens when a lot of people who are not well get a lot of money. They just do the wrong things with it. They're not in a position to otherwise cap themselves off from doing whatever it is that they would do in massive indulgence, if that makes any sense. And so I don't see myself as much different, especially with how ill I've been and how unhappy this whole circumstance has ultimately made me, waiting on AMC to manifest into what it is that should be in a world where I'm praying the corruption will have some sort of cap off to its potential. You know what I mean? And as I look around, I say, as long as people are in agreement to continue to keep corruption going, there is no cap to the potential of corruption. Corruption rules the earth. Problem is, that would be fine if it didn't garner such trash spiritual energy along with it. See, that's the part that the world seems to be not cognizant of. The world itself moves in bad energy as if it can continue to move in bad energy when it has to pay the toll later. You have to pay the toll later. So it's like a lot of us are living in we don't have the hindsight necessary to see where all this is headed in regards to certain corruption. We don't see where we're going to hate how we've done certain things in regards to allowing certain things to happen. I kind of have a notion that this is something that we should choose not to do as a society, allowing our financial system to be corrupted by individuals who could care less about where money goes. Looking at our social media platforms and the things that we go on. I was looking today, the agendas that are in place that confuse the minds of the common folk. We don't yet understand that there are bots in place that like to keep conversations going in regards to things that stir people up with one another. Every time I look up and see some anything dividing type of statements in comment sections, you look on their profiles and you will never see more than one picture. These profiles are not even blocked, they just only have one picture. Most of the profiles that I've been clicking on that have divisive language that ultimately get people stirred up are not real accounts. It's becoming a habit. Check to see if the divisive evil language is actually a human being who wants to identify, and rarely is it ever. And knowing that our country, knowing that our world, knowing that various races and different groups have haters in the shadows, including black people, including white people, everybody has their own haters in the shadows, and people who are set to benefit from people thinking and moving their money in certain ways, particularly in the name of emotional hate. I'm telling you that a lot of the stuff that is out there is not your common brother and sister speaking against your group. Okay? It's the chaos and the confusion in place to keep you distracted from thinking about the stuff that otherwise would help us not be hateful, not welcome bad energy into our lives, not welcome bad energy by way of our corruptible agreements. There are entities in place on high. I don't know who they are. Maybe they're on low for all I know, but there are people in place that don't have a interest in the game, that are far away, likely far away from where you are, who want to see you and the person you next to fighting with one another about various things for whatever reasons of their own. They believe that they can infiltrate some discourse of disconnect between individuals that they are not. And I'm seeing it all over the net, and I'm seeing people be convinced that the world is a certain way by way of these individuals. There's a facet of people in this world that want the black community to hate the gay community the way white supremacy hates black people. This is a mimicking energy that they are trying to manifest more of within our community, so that we will hate others and welcome bad energy to us. That is all it's about. That's all it's about. And I see it all the time. Now look, there are a great deal of black people who don't vibe with gay people. This is a fact. There is a facet of white people that hate black people. This is a fact. There are a facet of Asian people who hate whatever. You get the point. It keeps going. There's always going to be groups of people in your group that are going to hate people. They're going to be loud about their hate. That's just part of the human condition. People raise people to hate people, and people believe in that stuff religiously, so it ain't going nowhere. These are things that you have to understand and believe before you even get out into the world making money. Now, what I do understand is this too. There are people in place in every one of those groups that do not like that energy, that don't welcome hate into their lives, that know better, that want to do better, and don't have any interest in seeing you suffer by way of anything that they're feeling. Every group has these people too. They're there. And if you choose to pay attention to them, you'll think they're the only ones there. This is something we need to find balance about. We can't let those who hate be louder than those who don't. You can't let those who want to keep hate alive be the only ones that you believe are having conversations. Find that balance in regards to what it is you're seeing, so that you don't find yourself confused about what it is that you're seeing in your phone. Because there are people somewhere, anywhere, with the Joker mentality that just want to see the world burn, and they want to see you fight with somebody else by way of your energy. They can see that burning happen. So this is what I came to say as well in regards to my mental health concerns and all of that. A lot of what it is that I'm able to see while I'm sitting here in this space is these type of formulas, these type of things being applied by demons in the shadows that don't have any other interest than to push whatever it is that they got going on for reasons that obviously I would not be privy to. But my guess would be hate, Satanism, all types of evil stuff that trickles down to the various different traumas that we see every day. The various different traumas that we hate to hear about, the various different things that allow for Epstein Islands and stuff like that to sit in the world without anybody going there and raiding the place full of bullets. This, my friends, is what it is that we're trying to combat against. This is why the Lord wired me this way, in this time, so that I can be able to bring this to you in this way. And I know it. It's why I've been suffering the way I have. It's so I can remind everybody that that middleman is always there, trying to keep us hateful, trying to keep us thinking that everybody next to us is either hateful, that the culture of hate is something that doesn't bring us the worst possible consequences later, which it does. I don't give a damn who you hate. Once you say I hate, you're bringing what comes with it to you. The version of you that says I welcome, that is what is going to be receiving everything that comes from the backlash of being evil. I promise you, it's not favorable to you. It's not pretty. It's not like some type of romantic, gothic energy. No, you're going to be suffering pain, actual physical pain. You do not want to welcome hate into your life, because the consequences of hate are meant to make you suffer for a very long time. Okay? That's what hate does. It's not something that defends you from the evils of the world or makes you more dangerous to the evils out there. No, it makes you more susceptible to being used by something that's much more intent on destroying much more than you survey. That is what I know. That's what the enemy's about. He's trying to wipe away anything the Lord created in any way, shape, and form. He's trying to deter the spirit of anything that would otherwise fight that, while simultaneously making people believe he don't exist. This is what he does. So when you see people saying, I hate them, just remember, half the people we're saying that are probably not even people at all. Bots, people praying prayers to Satan, people sitting back in a corner mad at the world, want everybody else to be mad at the world too, and wouldn't dare say a thing to the people they're angry at in real life. These are the people that you think make up the entire world. When you look and see a black guy say, I hate the gay people, this or that, or we don't get with that, F them. Click on the account and tell me that you're going to see more than one picture in one post. I'm telling you, the thing about being an AMC ape is trained me to know this. That's what the Hedgies did. They trained me to see this in other places. That's what this brain does. So when they go on their little fake accounts and tell me AMC is done, and tell me GME is done, and tell me that it, go woke, go broke. In other words, fight corruption, suffer for it, which is true. It's absolutely true. Go woke, go broke. I'm living it. But the problem is, the first shall be last. Those who fight the good fight will be the ones on the statues in the end represented. And we're going to be the ones that are told to have saved the world, so to speak, when we expose the corruption that plagues the world for decades. So yes, we will probably go broke trying to fight these evil demons, and the backlash of the energy that comes from them running us into the ground, which is also equivalent to hatred, which is equivalent to evil, which is equivalent to something that's going to bring them bad energy by way of the destruction that they applied to us. See how that backlash works? It's natural. It's a natural reaction to anything wrong. They're going to pay for it in the back end. Lawsuits, MOAS, deterioration of various parent companies that are going to deteriorate various things that we ultimately see. Breakdowns of various political parties and different agreements amongst countries to even look at America as a viable financial partner. These things are imminent because of the corruption that we engage in. And all of our friends in the UN or whoever else is with us in regards to these practices, they too will have to deal with the comeback and the backlash of this bad energy that ultimately has been applied to those who want to deter those who want to stop them from doing what they shouldn't. And this is already understood. So, I live and breathe as an ape, suffering the ills of the time on the calendar to which I live. But that don't mean that I know anything less than the truth. That the history books will be very kind to the apes. And I happen to be one of them. Why? Because we took the little time that we had on this earth, the little money that we were ever afforded, whatever it was, and we applied it to the idea that the sacrifice, regardless if it were to benefit us personally or not, the sacrifice to raise awareness for what it is that's being done in the shadows, in regards to our finances, in regards to every coin that we're out here trying to earn, and it being duplicated somewhere else without us even knowing it, not represented in any works, not represented in any success, but just represented in the fact that someone could duplicate it over and over again illegally. That is what is taking place where you are not looking. While you believe whatever you believe in your phone, as you believe in the evils of the discourse that's going around or whatever distractions may be in place, they are making money out of money that you're earning and not putting it in places where poverty is found, not putting it in places where people are sick, not putting it in places where people are in need, not putting it in places where they can reinvest in places that don't have education. They are reinforcing the notion that they should continue spending the money the way they've been doing it so that the world can be divided by those who are capable and those who are not given the opportunity to become capable. This is what they control. People wonder why I'm an ape. It ain't for no damn money. Money is supposed to be the reward for the fight. The fight is the purpose. People wonder why I'm sitting here in situations that are as bad as it is. It's because I believe in this with my soul and my heart and my life. And nobody needs to tell me I'm doing the right thing. I don't need to be thanked by you. I don't need my family to say, yo, Brandon, I see what you're doing. Let me help you. That's not what motivates me. What motivates me is knowing for an absolute fact that evil is in place trying to laugh at the face of God as he's empowering his people to do something about it. That is what is happening. He has empowered goodness in the hearts of many to do something about the evils in place financially. And what we are doing is fighting the Lord's fight in that regard. You know, he made me a grown person in this era. He didn't make me 8 years old in this era. He didn't make me 67, too old to do this. Nah, he made me right in my prime with no kids, no family, nothing in regards to somebody telling me not to do this, which probably would have benefited me, but not the movement I'm in. You know what I'm saying? They need people like me to be stupid enough to go all in, to know in, to see this process through, to speak on it on my channel so that nobody forgets what the hell we doing. Nobody. Nobody who watches me don't forget why we here. No, I'm going through this because I believe if I don't go through this, they're going to keep this up for the next 700 years. And the notion of what a king is, the notion of what a queen is, or a monarchy, or a dictatorship, you're going to know something that you ain't never known in that regard if they're able to continue to duplicate money like they're doing in 2023 all the way out as long as they plan on doing it. Nah, you're going to know a world where they're going to own several planets. And God knows what type of slavery is going to be taking place on them planets. God knows what type of hard work, child labor is going to be taking place on them planets. What type of stuff is going to be going on with the money they're going to be able to duplicate infinitely this far back into the past. You understand what I'm saying to you? Building space stations with this money. I know that they're not putting that money in any place that's going to help this generation become better and tumble forth a better path of humans. They don't have any interest in that. They're putting that money in tech. God is real. They don't feel they have any use for humans. They don't believe God exists, so they move as if they're gods. The problem is God is real. You can remove him from the variable. It doesn't remove him from the equation. You can move him what it is you're looking at. It doesn't mean that your math is going to add up. It's no different than being in any other type of denial. You can deny that the paperwork's over there for the court stuff, but your ass still got to be there on Wednesday. You can deny the fact that you need to hit up Strictly Mott to get your damn money back, but until you do, you won't have it. It's parallel. My life, their life, parallel. Because at the end of the day, it's cause and effect. And whether or not you're brushed into your circumstance by way of your emotions and your feelings or whatever, or you brush into your circumstances by way of your sin, your evil, and your notions or whatever it should be. The point is, if you don't do things correctly, you will pay for it on the back end. If you do things the evil way, whether you believe it's coming or not, you're going to feel the pressure of what it is that you've done. You're going to feel the blowback of what it is that you've done. And all the people that you've hurt will have their justice one way or another. Whether it's realized in the public eye or just to the Lord himself, you gonna suffer for what you did. Just like I'm probably suffering for what I've done. But my suffering gonna last forever because I understand. I absolutely understand that what I'm involved in, there is a plan for. Who I am, where I'm at 38 years old, struggling like I am, there is already a plan for that. Now, what that plan is, how best to prove to y'all that I know that to be true and live my life throughout, we're going to find out as the calendar folds. We'll see how it goes. But I can tell you, it ain't no confusion in regards to what I'm doing. A lot of suffering, a lot of frustration, a lot of pain, a lot of struggle, a lot of fear. But not the type of fear that would keep me from believing in what I'm doing and speaking on what it is and capturing this moment. Because if I go on the ground without a dollar, you best believe everybody who knew of me knew why that was. It wasn't because I wasn't smart enough to get one. It wasn't because I just didn't love nothing and I just didn't love myself enough to put myself out there. No, it was because I was aware of the financial corruption taking place in this world, and I did something about it with the little power that I had. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.